What is the ultimate goal of the film festival circuit for you?
It's kind of a mixture of the sales side and then just genuine wanting to get in front of an audience and get their feedback.
Great. And how do you measure success? How do you determine whether you think your festival circuit worked for your film or not?
Well, I think we're redefining success this year under COVID, and I'm not sure if I have an answer yet of what that would be. But in a normal time, I would say it varies from film to film, because not every film is going to get picked up but for distribution and premiere at a gigantic film fest. So I think broadly speaking, I would say, did it connect with audiences and did it find the life that it deserves?
Overwhelmingly, my function for filmmakers is trying to get them traditional distribution if that's what they want. And I'd say that, measuring success kind of depends on the level of what kind of film it is and what kind of festival we get. Certainly if we're in Sundance or South by, then, at least pre-pandemic, part of the job is to try to get the buyers into the room and have them experience the film with an audience.
Kind of like a festival rat. I love going to festivals. I love traveling. I love screening my film and meeting audience and engaging the audience. I think a festivals for me is a part of the pressure cooker of making a film without the distribution. We kind of need them to get the word out, and but also for networking, for getting free press, and I have been everywhere. So for me, there is a difference between playing a major film festival and a small film festival or niche film festival, but they are all important.
For me, the film festival circuit was about selling our film and having people, especially for the shorts, but having other producers and companies look at my director's work. Pure Kids, which Jeffrey's going around with right now, we want to sell the film, and we want people to see the film so that they don't kick their homeless gay kids out of their homes.
That would definitely be success, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Concrete measure of success. And when you are looking to launch a film, what's your strategy in that? And then how do you then proceed with thinking about the rest of the run?
So I have a list of over 300 festivals, and what I do with that list is that I divide the list into the best 10, the top 10 festivals, then the top 20, the top 50, the top 100, then everybody else.
I think that it all depends on what you want from the festival circuit. Again, like you go to Sundance, or you go as a short filmmaker, you go to Sundance and you go to Toronto to be a part of, the talent forums. Like we were part of the talent forum at Sundance this year, which gave us meetings, with industry people. I was also a Film Independent Fellow last year, and typically organizations like Tribeca Film Institute, rest in peace, they would, if you get into one, it's easier for you to get into another situation. So like, you would if you do the Sundance Labs, for instance, it's more likely that you'll do, because that's all a part of it too for short filmmakers, because they all want to make features.
Premiering at what they would call like a first tier or premiere film festival. So, it depends on the time of year when you finished your film. It depends on a lot of different factors, but for us, that would mean something like Sundance or Toronto or Berlin, South by Southwest or Tribeca. And your hope is that if you get into one of those festivals, that a lot of the buyers pay attention to those more than they do the next tier down. And I didn't name every tier 1 fest, that's just a handful of them. But then so do other film fests. So if you're lucky enough to get into a Sundance or South by Southwest, there's a ton of people in the audience that program other film fests.
Because there's a lot of people who work at many different festivals, and I call them festival carnies, and everybody tends to use FileMaker databases. Once you start getting passes from one festival, everybody goes from one festival to another festival to another festival, and they put the notes in the FileMaker database. So even if you think you're submitting a film that festival hasn't seen, chances are somebody has seen it. I mean, there's a chance. So really the biggest rookie mistake is submitting the film before it's ready.
Like I can't do enough to understand the expectations of the filmmaker and what their understanding of the business is before we get into what we do, just because there's so much mythology out there about, you know, like that they kind of rely on in terms of what they think might happen with their film. And once you've been through it, like Chester and Flavio have, you don't know the business. So you know, when I haven't laid the groundwork enough and they come back and they wonder why they didn't get into South by or Sundance, and then I have to explain the math, it's a harder conversation.
Filmmakers shouldn't really feel bad when they're rejected, because unless you know a lot of people, it's really, really, really statistically almost impossible to get into these top festivals. And one of the ways we've traditionally done that is to travel and meet people and go out and network and all that. That's how I did it, partying. So, but we can't do that right now.
I make a film thinking like, okay, this film is gonna play in this festival. I'm gonna call that program. I'm gonna, and they will take me back to that festival again now. And I love that experience. And so I am devastated with the idea that I can no longer have that human contact with people. And for example, I went to a festival in Arkansas. Now, what's the name? Bentonville Film Festival. Was such a great experience. I hope someone is now listening to that. Now, it was a great experience. I met a real American now in the heartland of this country. Now, you screening my film, meeting people, and it's sold out screenings. I had 2 screenings there, and only in a small town you can have that kind of experience.
Informal networking that happens at a film fest is what makes or breaks your career a lot of times. And when you get your film into, whether it's South by Southwest or Greenpoint, during normal times, you know, you might see an executive on a panel like this, but then you get to face with the name, and then you go to the after party and you see them and you can go up and talk to them, and you start developing career connections. And those happen very informally. And even when in the virtual world where we're setting up one-on-one meetings with people and stuff, it's just not the same as being able to bump into someone over a beer and just strike up a conversation and they start to know you and know your career.
What's strange lately is that the buyers have been saying to me that they're getting more content than they usually get, because some people have abandoned festivals and gone right to getting distribution, and there's still stuff coming out of posts. So some people ask me, you know, hey, it's a great time to buy. Buyers must need stuff. It's actually not true. There's actually been plenty of content for distributors to look at.
You know whether a festivals are worth applying to, because we've all done many small festivals. And then talk about fees for a moment, because it's super important for beginning filmmakers, because absolutely fucking that couple $2,000 on all the festival fees, that's brutal.
Keep in mind that by playing in a major film festival, you know, you're gonna get lots of invitations from those festivals, because I usually approach them and say, okay, I got to South by, you know, would you like to take a look at my film? And now usually the answer is yes, you know, especially if you have a relationship with them, so you can just send an email to them, so you skip the film freeway or without a box, and we don't have any more anyway. So or work with film collaborative.
Everybody like us, when we first got into the festival circuit, I think everyone should pay their due. And because the festivals can't exist without you paying the festival fees in order to get into the festival. So, you know, until you do pay, you know, get into more festivals, or your second film, since you're an alumni, they have alumni discount codes or whatever. So it's like, you know, it's all a push. It's like an ebb and flow.
People feel so like humbled when they're accepted to a film festival that they don't then stand up for themselves. With realizing that, you know, lots and lots and lots of other people are going to benefit in this. So just in asking for a fee, you're asserting your own, like, the incredible time and energy and money and blood, sweat, and tears you put into making the film. So I think that as long as you approach everything like that, you can kind of apply that to most everything along these questions.